podcast. My name is Naz. I want to talk about MMA news today. And in MMA news today, Luke Rockhold talked to Ariel Helwani. There's no interview that came out. It was just a phone call type thing, I believe. And at the age of 35, which he's currently at, he says he wants to make a comeback in MMA. Now, he's going to come back to the UFC. And right now, like I said, he's age 35. Who knows what his age is going to look like or what it's going to be when he comes back. Luke Rockhold is such an interesting fighter. He had a belt at one point and looked to be unstoppable. Just by hearing from all accounts of how he started his career and the way that he talked about it, it's incredibly interesting due to the fact that he just walked into a gym being one of the best gyms ever, aka, and without any real knowledge of the sport, coming in and just dominating. He just had that natural talent. Now, a lot of fans don't seem to like him that much, and that might be due to the fact that he talks a big game all the time. Sometimes, and most of the times, he backs it up in the past. But I guess it was just the arrogance that he had. And on top of that, you put on top of that he's a good-looking guy and he's going around and being this arrogant. It just makes people not like him as much. Now, if you ask me personally what I think of Luke Rockhold, man, the abilities that he had, he was amazing on the ground. You could see that a lot of DC's techniques rubbed off on him on taking people down. His jiu-jitsu was on point and his striking was incredible. The flexibility that he had to get those leg kicks were just amazing in his heyday. Now, who knows what happens when he comes back? Another thing about Luke Rockhold is he's sustained a lot of injuries in his career. Injuries that are just nagging pains, and some of them being major. And these things add up over time. They just get you out of training camp. They get you out of the gym. And obviously, it just doesn't help for his long-term career. I'm not sure why people want to boo Luke Rockhold. Right when he announced, or right when Ariel announced that he's coming back, or he plans on coming back, people had a lot of negative comments about it, which is quite strange because of the pedigree that he has in terms of he had a belt. We're talking about a champion here. And his style was spectacular. Not many of Luke Rockhold's fights were boring. There was always something. And he was very fan-friendly. When he was coming up, I believe, a lot of people love Luke Rockhold. I believe it was when he got the belt. That's when people started turning on him. But I'm super excited for Luke to come back. I know he's at somewhat of an advanced age, but this is a past champion that we're talking about. The possibilities are pretty crazy because I'm never going to count him out. Whoever we put him against, or whoever Dana White puts him against, It's just going to be a fun fight. Even a Luke Rockhold loss is a fun fight. Now, when did this all kind of start spiraling? Well, Luke defeated Weidman on December 12th of 2015. And then he lost to Michael Bisping in June 4th, 2016. Now, the way that he lost that fight, and the way that fight was amped up, Luke was saying, I'm going to knock you out. Bisping coming in short notice and knocking him out in the first round with a crazy punch. The man that nobody thought would be able to do it. The man that spun his career around in Michael Bisping. Because before Michael Bisping beat Luke Rockhold, he was almost a journeyman. A man that never got to fight for a belt, never got a belt. But after winning that, he became a surefire Hall of Famer. He was already a Hall of Famer because of his bringing the sport to the UK. But the way that he won the belt, the cowboy type-esque way that he won the belt on short notice. I believe he was coming off a movie set. He was filming Triple X, the Vin Diesel movie. And he came off that and then knocked out Luke Rockhold. For a man, no less, that's not known for his power. Bisping is known to harness his cardio as a weapon. But he knocked out Luke Rockhold. And it was amazing to see because of, and this is at the point where I think the fans started to turn on Luke, because he was going after a fan favorite at the end of the day. He was talking a lot of smack about Michael Bisping. He brought a lot of personal things to that fight. So then, on September 16th, Luke Rockhold got back in the win column by fighting David Branch. Now, that fight was interesting because we saw the display. We saw Luke display his wrestling and jiu-jitsu as well. It was a great fight, but was the competition high enough for Luke? The other thing that didn't help was it seemed like he was fighting very sporadically. Now think about it. All the fighters that we love to watch, no matter what they do, at the end of the day, they're consistent. The more time they're in the spotlight, the more we like them. And that became an issue with Luke, I believe. But that goes back to my point on the nagging injuries and just weird stuff that was going on. Now, I think it's a good time to mention Luke's almost part-time job, which is being a model. And it seems like this happens with a bunch of fighters. DC comes to mind because his fight's coming up this weekend. His coaches even told DC that you're splitting too much time on other things like broadcasting or podcasting or whatever. You're not giving enough time to fight, training for them. Was that happening to Luke? Maybe, maybe not. Who really knows? But it's a thing to consider. There are killers in the UFC. And they do not care about modeling. They do not care about filming movies. They could care less about being commentators. They just want to be UFC champions. Now, Conor McGregor also comes to mind. When Conor McGregor was on his tear, he was offered movie role after movie role. I believe he even got, it was an acceptance to be in Game of Thrones. And Conor McGregor turned that down because he knew who he was and who he wanted to become. And that was one of the greatest of all time. Now, did he achieve it? Who knows? He's still fighting. But he had that mentality. At the end of the day, no matter what you do, no matter how many times you go to the gym, you still have a part-time job. Now, after the Branch win, Luke Rockhold went on and lost to Yoel Romero. Tough competition. Super tough competition. High level. Top of the food chain. And it was a real step up, even though he was a champion. But it was from Branch to Romero. And like I said before, and like I've iterated so many times in this kind of recap that we've done of Luke Rockhold, is that the injuries and just nagging issues that he's had have really stifled his career in a very promising career. Now, he won the belt. He did the ultimate thing. But this is and I think this is the reason why people are really frustrated, is because the possibilities that we saw with Luke Rockhold was a John Jones type level at the time. We thought he would be one of the greatest of all time. Just because of his natural ability. Now, after the Romero loss, Luke did something different and something that a lot of people were asking him to do. He moved up to 205 and fought Blachowicz. Now, he got knocked out in the second round. Luke always had this thing for him that he was long, rangy, and wiry compared to his opponents. When I saw Luke at 205, he looked like an Instagram bodybuilder. He looked massive. You don't know how your body's going to feel at a new weight division when that adrenaline is pumping and everybody's watching you. His arms were huge. Like, he looked like he was almost Yoel Romero at 205. Now, I think this is one of the things that happened to him, that his footwork and mobility got messed up because of this heavy weight gain that he did. And he fought a real 205er. The other thing at the time, and this fight happened July 6, 2019, was that people were just so fed up with John Jones flatlining everybody that I think they just pushed Luke. They pushed him so much into the 205 division because they just wanted to see someone put up somewhat of a contest against John Jones. I believe that's what happened at the time. Now, what do I think should happen with Luke Rockhold now? I really do believe he should stay at 205. The weight cut for him was bad. And at 205, I believe he just needs to pinpoint that right level of muscle, the right way to train. Make sure all of his injuries are gone. And that's probably what happened in this break that he's had. But he is 35. And cutting that amount of weight is tough. And it doesn't get any easier the older you get. So I think he should fight at 205. Some people are saying that he should fight Weidman again. I don't think so. Weidman, I think we should just put him on the course that he's on. Luke, I believe we got to give him a gimme fight as well. Just like Weidman. It's so crazy to think that these guys had amazing fights together, or a fight together. And at the end of the day, the Chris Weidman and Luke Rockhold's careers are going to be intertwined, and they still talk about it to this day, that they still want to fight each other. I think that Luke should get someone, outside of the top 10. Someone that can put him back on his course. Give him some confidence. Because, like I've said so many times in this podcast now, the natural ability that Luke Rockhold has is something that we need to see in the UFC. I just need to see it. And I just love watching him. He's dynamic in every way in the UFC. And I can't wait to watch him again. Hopefully he gets put on the right track. Hopefully he comes back to an amazing fight. But I'm super excited to see what comes up next and when Luke Rockhold's next fight will be. I love talking about this stuff. Thank you for taking the time, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.